Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wa rabbil alameen. As-salatu was-salam ala rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Halim wa salam bikum. Assalamu alaikum. Rahmatul katu lil ikhwani fati fi din. Salamu ala mani tabahuda lil ikhwani fati fi Afrika, Europa, America, wa Caribbean, wa kulli makan. Wa my Fulbe community, Anzarama Jambe, Alhamdulillah Jamwali. Today, brothers and sisters, I will talk about a serious proposal, and I'm hoping my brothers in the ulama get a hold of this. The Sultan of Sokoto get a hold of this, and we get the ball rolling on implementing, because we must do something in northern Nigeria. It's out of control. And here we have a depiction of what I'm talking about today is the Sahara patrol that our ancestral fathers had. They had a dual system. You had the Sanhaja. The Sanhaja people, that's part of my heritage, is the Amazigh, because my heritage is originally out of northern Nigeria, Kano, Kaduna region, and then they went westward into Guinea, and then up north into, Senegal, Mali, Mauritania, and then they settled in Maghreb. That's why my sister has 25% Amazigh blood line. She in her DNA. Mine is less than this 12. It shows 12, but she's a woman, and so we took it from our ancestral mom, who was half Fulani, because she's 50% Fulani, 25% Amazigh, something like this. I can't remember what my sister's DNA is, but nevertheless, we have a patrol that we need to now quell the violence that's going on from Boko Haram all the way to the bandit groups, because the militias and the military are not good enough. As we get through this, you'll understand why I'm having this. Who are the Sanhaja? The Sanhaja are Amazigh. Sanhaja, it was a confederation of mainly 7 different Amazigh clans. Those clans mixed with the Fulani clans as well. Those clans, along with the Fulani clans in the 600s, developed Takrur. Remember, we talked about that the other day, Takrur region, and they developed a kingdom and then a sultanate by the 1000s. They were still going, and these two elements maintained a strong presence, especially in the Western Corridor. That mixture became the sultans of the last remaining of the sultanates of Maghreb. So this is a very deep connection between the Sanhaja and the Fulani. It's a deep connection. We married each other's into each other's family and so forth and so on. That's why you find people in the Western Corridor, you always find Tuareg, Amazigh heritage. We're not talking about the white ones today, because it wasn't until the early, mid 1800s that the white Amazigh began to appear. And the black Amazigh, if you notice, they're down south. So during this time, as even all historians will tell you, everybody was black in this region. That's why they call it Bilad Sudan. So this patrol, brothers and sisters, that developed with the Sanhaja and with the Fulani was great. And as we go through this, I will show you why this thing is valuable. Here we have the Modibo. He's introducing this proposal to the parliament in Nigeria. As you notice, the two Mujahideen here on our right. I propose that the Mujahideen that we have now, that's hitting towns in northern Nigeria and hitting in the Savannah region, we now go to them and now give them a job that's worthy under the control of the Council of 40, and have them to now do the patrolling. Why? Because they know this region very well and they're mobile. Here, the way the patrolmen were, the policemen or the Hezbollah, if you want to call them under the Sharia, you notice they're light, meaning they don't have a lot of heavy equipment. They have, and today we have the AK-47, but you see here they have kind of like a sword, like a machete. This is the ornament that you need in the Sahara. When the patrol encounters bandits, there's a lot of hand-to-hand combat that happens in these camps, because as they raid these camps, they're hand-to-hand combat, sword fighting, machete fighting. So this is why they have this ornament here. And then they would have an amount of times they have a handgun too, like a 45 automatic, something like that. And then they use this to go into battle, and they patrol the region. We need this now, and I believe is a very valuable commodity that we can use today, especially in regions where there's vast regions where there's nothing there. The state cannot do anything anymore except send bombs downrange, because it has no plans, they have no end game, they have no negotiations, nothing. All they can do is keep adding police officers, and that's not cutting it. See, that's not getting it. And I'll show you what I'm talking about, brothers and sisters. That is very upsetting. I'm going to show you this. This is unacceptable. You see here, this is just the Eastern Corridor. Here is the routes of guns, human trafficking, bandits, muharaba. They're going to and from the region without any interdiction. Even though the Americans have their surveillance equipment, the Russians have their surveillance equipment, the British have their surveillance equipment, Nigeria has their surveillance equipment, and you still have these routes. They're going crazy. Nobody can stop. They have arms flowing from the north down to the south. You have human trafficking of Fulani women and other ethnic groups going into the north. You have drug trade. You got marijuana, heroin, especially heroin, cocaine, leaving Nigeria, going through these routes here and undetected. We can put an end to this if we institute what we call the Sanhaja Border Patrol. And as I showed you here, you take a good look at this map, and you see this is the bare essence of the patrol we have in northern Nigeria. I don't care if you put 18,000 troops there. It's not going to work. Why? Because if they don't control these trade routes, if they don't go into the Sahara and control this and start to interdict it, then what did the 28,000 new troops going to do? Nothing. Because these guys are mobile. They go into Chad, they go into Niger, they go into the Sahara, they stay there for 1 month, 2 months, things clear up, they lick their wounds, get well, get refreshed, and come back into northern Nigeria and start raiding again. And this is what we have, brothers and sisters. This is very, very sad. And then you see, as we look at this map, this is a very damning thing against the Sahel, against the AU. It's against all of the security apparatuses that are being funded by the West. It is it's a damn shame. That's all I can say. You see all these routes. And it's funny, we have airplanes, we got surveillance, and they can't stop any of this. This is why now we have to go back to where our ancestors controlled this region. They had hardened mujahideen, and they took no quarter. They were specially trained. They understood, and they knew exactly how to handle, because they were from this region. These guys to your right here mean business. They're no joke, brothers and sisters. They're long, wiry, and heavily muscled. You may not think that because you see them under the clothes, but if you took their clothes off, you find these guys to have very high muscular content for hand-to-hand combat. They're generally taller than most people. They're in American context, they're 6 feet and higher. These guys here believe in the Sharia Allah Ta'ala. They make their dhikr. They live in the Sahara. They live in the Savannah region, so they know it very well, and they will defend it with their lives. This is what we need. They are more mobile and more able to control those routes than the military today. Because why? the Muharaba groups, the bandit groups, the rogue insurgent groups, they all know the schedules of the military. They know how the military acts. They know how predictable they are. They say, okay, we know they're going to send a bomb over here, so we'll move. And we'll wait for them to do what they have to do for 1 month, then we'll go back. Because they know what the government is, their attitude. But with the Sanhaja patrol, the Sanhaja, the full bay control we had centuries past, they wouldn't be able to predict these guys because they will never see them until they're on them. This is an important factor, brothers and sisters. Very, very important factor that we have to look at. And I hope we develop this Council 40 to go to Abuja and they begin to introduce all these programs, have the Council 40 to run it. Because I showed you those trade routes. We call them trade routes, meaning because they used to use them for trade, for salt, and so forth and so on, and sending minerals up north and all that. And then the minerals from north, like salt, from the north comes down to the south. All those trade routes, that's just some. There's many, and nobody's manning them. They go back and forth, brothers and sisters. They take our Fulani women into the Sahara and disappear. They have drugs going. Nobody's stopping them. It's just a damn shame. Okay, bottom line. And so this Council 40 will be able to implement this program, and we get this thing going, and we'll stop this stuff that's happening. And I want to show you this other thing, and I'll get to my notes. Why the combination between the Sanhaja and the Fulani? The Sanhaja originally, again, with the Tuareg Amazigh. They knew the water wells and all the routes up to the north, to the central and to the south with the Fulani. You see? So the sultanates used them to patrol the regions, and they would patrol together. When the Sultan ordered them to go to a region because there's a lot of activity of banditry, they go to the north. They always go together, and they allowed the Sanhaja, Amazigh, to go into when they go higher up into the desert regions, because they knew this region, but they had their Fulani brothers with them, and they go. If they were ordered to go further south down into the Sahara range in the savannah, that's what the Fulani was the expert. You see how it worked? This is why you see these two always together at the frontier. You always find them together. You find the Sanhaja in all blue. You find some of the Fulani also wear blue because of the intermarrying and cultural exchange between the Tuareg and between the Amazigh and the Fulani are very prevalent. So I'm giving you this here to show you, brothers and sisters. You can go over this map. You can go back to the video and check this map out again. I'll be giving you how this thing can work. If you have a mobile force of Sanhaja, meaning Tuareg, and Fulani Mujahideen of today, you have them patrolling these corridors. I'm going to tell you right now, we'll put an end to a lot of that. The bandits and many need the supplies from the north. These trade routes, they wait monthly, weekly, or whatever for these trade routes, for these rogue elements, actors to come from the north down into northern Nigeria in particular, and wait for their guns, ammunition, food, intelligence information, technological things, and so forth, drones. They need this. They get it from the north and they bring it down to the south. So this is why this is a very, very, very important aspect that we have to look at, brothers and sisters. And I hope that you guys understand my rationale why I'm talking about this, because as we see, all you have to do is pull up the Sahara News. You pull up the premium news of Nigeria, the Muslim newsletter of Nigeria. You look at all these, you find killings after raiding, Sharia court invasions, judges being kidnapped, ordinary Fulani, Hausa, Igbo, whatever situation, are being kidnapped, shot, killed, and ransomed off. I mean, all this is going on. And now it's time that we get together and we do something to put an end to this, brothers and sisters. So as we get to this situation here. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And this is the modern Border Patrol program of the ancient Sanhaja spiritual technical Mujahideen discipline and the full-bait herdsman Saharan Mujahideen patrol. These brothers were special. They know the Sahara Desert like the back of their hand, brothers and sisters. And as we go through this Anjarama, the Dude, and this, welcome my esteemed brothers. This is what I've said here in the Fulani language. And we, this program, we need to get it implemented across the Sahara. The weak state presence, porous border, banditry, kidnapping networks, human trafficking routes, arms smuggling. I mean, it goes on and on. Because there's no governance and security apparatuses that's manning this region. More than 900 years ago, the Sanhaja should be ethnic groups. I don't know. I should have got that out of there. Developed a system of mobility, intelligence gathering, and long-range desert patrols. Later became integrated with the Murabitun, the famous Murabitun, who were to have Fulani, have Sanhaja, Lamtuna, Jadela, so forth. There's the clans of the Tuareg. The Amazigh. So they developed into this famous, who became, the sultans in Maghreb, and in the 1000s they came and saved Islam and the Muslims in modern day Spain from the Visigoths. That's what we're talking about here. But the Sanhaja Amazigh emerged from this federation, and that, as you see, that explains it. The question is, what lessons can the border security institution, learn from the Sanhaja Fulla Mujahideen experience? There's a lot. How can a trafficker with a pickup truck cross hundreds of kilometers of desert today, while government equipped with drones, satellites, and modern vehicles struggles to stop him? These are questions that we have to ask. A caravan of human traffickers with captured Fulani women travel undetected and with impunity. Armed dealers, drug traffickers use traditional trading routes for illicit trade, undetected and uninterdicted. The answer may lie in the lessons behind by the ancient Sanhaja and Fulani patrol systems of the Sahara. We need to go back to that. The Council of 40 must present to the Parliament a convincing argument to scrap the heavy-laden military and security apparatus and adapt a traditional border strategy that our ancestor fathers used. I've been harping on this now, for a month. And I've sent a lot of feelers out to many scholars. I'm not going to take that back. Some did, but it was intercepted here. My situation. I won't get into that. I've get into that many times. You know what's going on. So they interdict, and they make it very difficult for me even to have programs. But I got some other methods I'm going to try to get this out. The Sanhaja tradition is the frontier vigilance and route security. The Sanhaja Federation of Western became a master of desert movement. This is very true. The Sanhaja group, they formed a unit, meaning this is like the Fulani clans. They got together and they gave the Fulani clans a name. We do have something like this. We know that the Sani clan was many adopted in the Sani clan. We also know the Bari was a clan also that came from ancient Egypt. They many different clans got amalgamated with the Bari people and so forth and so on. See, so the Sanhaja, the Amazigh Tuareg are also from ancient Egypt. We call it Tamari as well. So they have Lemtuna, Jadela, and so forth and so on. And these ethnic groups make up what is called the Sanhaja. Most likely in my family line and tree is this, we have that. I'm in that confederation as far as my ancestry, but most likely is probably the Lamtuna is more or less probably what because Lamtuna were intermixed a lot with the Fulani. We know that they mixed a lot more than Jadela and so forth. But we do know that the mixture did occur. So the key characteristics again, is why this patrol is better, because you see these elements here. The deep knowledge of the desert terrain is important. Their security, and the Americans don't have that. Yes, they got satellites, but if it was working, they would have stopped all of this stuff. Guns, human trafficking, all this, but they have not. Even with all the modern technology. Why? Because there are anomalies inside even the Savannah and the Sahara that make it difficult for this type of surveillance. You heard me talk about this weeks ago. So this is characteristics why this new, we readopt this patrol again, and this will help to get this quelled. The concept of Ribāṭ. The Ribāṭ developed that. Ribāṭ means where you go out away from everybody, you worship, you meditate, away from all of the worldly things, and they were known for this. This is how the term Ribāṭ came about, is because of this Ribāṭ, to get away, and then they went into jihad, and you know the story about the Ribāṭ. And so we have the modern equivalent: border patrol, frontier surveillance, and everything. Now, the full tradition in this is the mobile stewardship and territory awareness. Our Fulani brothers and sisters were very keen as you got to the Sahara Desert, as you start going southwards into the Savannah region, and more deeper into the Sahel, meaning the southern Sahel region. Then the Fulani became the experts, and they developed a system also, because why? The herds were there because there was shrubbery, grass, and water, lakes, and so forth and so on, right? So they understood this territory, and they have patrols in those days when we had the sultanates and whatnot. And as you can see, some of the things here, why this, why the Fulani patrol is important in this as well. The Council 40 addresses the security vacuum of the Sahara and the Sahel. As you heard me talk about, brothers and sisters, the Council 40 goes to Abuja and say, look, you may send 28,000 more troops, but it's not going to stop the human trafficking. It's not going to stop the kidnapping. It's not going to stop the arms smuggling, the banditry, illegal migration, and the weak state present in remote areas. Is not going to stop that. See, so there's just a show. Why? Because the Americans gave more money. Now they put more badly trained security and so forth. And you know the story about that as we more into that. A border is not protected merely by fences or checkpoints. The military is so predictable. The Western model and the colonial model tells the military, look, and security, what you do, you put a base here, you put a patrol here, and you put a checkpoint here. They walk around that, you see? So they know the predictability of the governments. They know that. They know they're going to put a checkpoint here. They know they're going to put a small base here, and they go past that. They don't, but the Sanhaja, Futafula patrol system, they don't have that. They are very mobile. See, that's why they're more effective. And as you see here, the key strengths: the desert navigation, camel warfare. They understand it. Oasis network. They know where the water wells are. And even the rogue elements, they need to have the oasis because they need water for if they use animals. A lot of times, a motorbike or a truck is not able to go through certain regions of the Sahara. And as they go southwards, okay, they have to have horses and camel because the region is too tough, and the cars can't go through the sand and so forth and so on. So they'll take mules, not mules, but donkeys, camels, especially camels and so forth. And our patrol would understand those oases. They would wait for the men in the ambush and so forth and so on. The long distance patrol, this is why it's valuable. They can do more things than security. Security will ask for a satellite to comb the area because of the anomalies during certain times of the year, certain times of the day. They won't see nothing, even though they are there. This is why these problems exist. Their survival depends on understanding the terrain better than outsiders. Let me show you something on this, brothers and sisters, that why this is a very important aspect as we go to this. Here we have what I'm talking about. You have certain times of the day, the satellite can't even pick up these bandits. These bandits came from the south, they're going northward. Either they're going to hide because now maybe the Nigerian military is onto them. So they go across the desert and they come and they hide for a month. They have camps all over the place. They can't see. But the Sanhaja, Futafula, Mujahideen patrol can. They can hide behind the dune. These guys don't see them. And they can ambush them and take them out. That's why we need these guys. Because they are of the Sahara. They know the Sahara. The security personnel from Abuja don't know. These guys here do know. Even though these guys, the bandits coming across, they can't even see these guys. And that's why you notice the short machete type weapons you see here, the sword here, you know, the safe in Arabic language. Here in the desert, you have a lot of hand-to-hand combat. You don't have the long-range bombing of 20, 30, 40 meters, kilometers away. Here, you have a lot. That's why you have to have rugged, strong brothers in the Sahara. When they encounter these guys here, normally this is going to be a hand-to-hand. As you see there, getting ready to attack them. Here is not long-range fighting. Here is hand-to-hand combat. And these brothers here, especially trained to use the gun as a weapon, they're AK-47, but they know how to use the sword and so forth and so on, the machete. This is why these guys are deadly. Now you understand what I was talking about. So as we get more into this, brothers and sisters, I'm hoping that you stay with me on these series about the Council of 40, why it's essential. I'm breaking down things to you so you can understand why this Council of 40, even though it's centuries old, but our Fulani ancestors had something going. They had divine favor from Allah. They understood the framework of the Sahara and the Savannah region, and they developed a security system that is foolproof. They protected caravans from the north, and the caravans came south. The caravans from the south went up north. These patrols protected them from the bandits. They had bandits, you heard me say, in the 1400s. They have bandits in the 1500s. They had kidnapping. They have muharaba syndicates going back and forth, waylaying people in the desert, taking their wealth. They had all of this. There was a big, big money making to even back then. See, so that's why this has to be implemented. And I'm hoping and praying that Subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us this feta to open that up. And as we get a little bit more into this, the notes here, as we see this situation, as we address the parliament down south, this is some of the things here. Now, brothers and sisters, we know the key strengths of our Sanhaja, the Tuareg and the Futafula and the Savannah and the Sahara regions, right? We see these networks, how they understand trade route monitoring, and so forth and so on. But one of the things that's not working is the corrupted border officers and security patrols. These guys are bandits, will pay off these guys to let them through if they encounter them in the Savannah or in the southern Sahara region. They pay them off and so forth. We're going to eliminate that because you will have real strong mujahideen. This is why I propose that you get the mujahideen that we have now in northern Nigeria, you bring them to the table and you give them a job as security where they're patrolling the outskirts and so forth and so on. Retrain them because they already know the Sahara, they know the Savannah, and put them to work. And put them under the Sharia and this under the Council 40, and this is viable because it'll eliminate this. It'll eliminate this, brothers and sisters. And that's important to eliminate this element here, the corruption. The Sanhaja patrol would, again, it would be the beautiful constant movement. They know the sand dunes. They know how to ambush. They know where these guys most likely would go to rest. And this is important, brothers and sisters, and route familiarity, because the guys from northern Nigeria may not be well equipped with all the routes and into the Sahara Desert. They may not. They need a better one. Sometimes they don't use it. They just travel that route. But the Sanhaja Fotofola Mujahideen Patrol understands that. So they go and hang around the routes and they wait for these guys to come. Like I showed you the first depiction there. And then they ambush them in hand-to-hand combat. See? And this is a deadly, deadly game. And boy, and unfortunately, when these bandits do encounter these guys, they're not taken to court. They're usually killed right there and buried out there in the Sahara Desert. The modern lessons is that we have this situation here. We have this indigenous tracking knowledge, and I'll show you something, brothers and sisters, why this is a very important factor about what I was talking about these ambushes and so forth and so on. I showed you this part of here, the ambush that occurred. There's another one here that I have here that also depicts this, how they track their where we got it here. Okay, I think this is it here. Yes, now, this is what I was talking about, brothers and sisters. Certain times of the day, the satellites that you have hovering there can't pick up these camps. They can't pick them up. The security and the military, they have GPS, they have this, that. They won't detect these guys. This is why the security situation is not working in these vast regions like this. But these mujahideen know these regions very well. They have trackers. They will see these guys. They would know, and they would know how to ambush them. Here is an ambush in the waiting. Here are the bandits. The bandits are in their camps here, protected because they know nobody's going to find them. Nobody can detect them. But the mujahideen who live in these regions know this. And now they wait to set the trap to go down to ambush these guys. Unfortunately, these guys here are dead men. Because when these guys come on, it's over. They don't send them to the police or anything. They kill them right then and there and so forth. And especially if there's kidnapping victims, that's why you hear many times about kidnapping victims being rescued. They'll show security because they turned them over to security, but it wasn't security actually found them. A lot of times is you have the mujahideen, the herdsmen groups and so forth that found them and they turn them over. But the media doesn't want you to know that the Fulani herdsmen found these people who were kidnapped. We got prayer coming up. I'll be closing it pretty soon. I wanted to get these depictions to show you just how it operates. This is a beautiful system here, brothers and sisters, and we need this security system to stop this banditry and stuff, because they have to have a place where they can hide and regroup. They can relax. They get their supplies, food, water, and everything, and they sit there and they plan. Okay, let me get this here. I hate to compete with the Dan here. Please excuse me here, because I'm very close to the masjid here, and I want to cover a little bit more of these notes, and then we'll be out. Okay, there we have. Okay, we have this. The lessons here, we covered that. The essential elements, we have that here. We have the model here that we show here, the 5 pillars and whatnot, how this is very important, how this can come to fruition. The 5 pillars: discipline, mobility, intelligence, terrain mastery, and service, protection of the civilians. Down here, this is important, brother, protection of the civilians, which we don't have today. The security forces most likely won't do that, and the military forces won't do that, especially with Fulani. Many times they just won't do it. Many times they're in cahoots with the bandits themselves and the kidnapping syndicates and the Muharaba syndicates. They're in cahoots with them. See, So this is why that system doesn't work. The great lessons of the how this works. It's the again the mobility and the moving around. You have to have a mobile group to find these guys, these bandits who leave from northern Nigeria to go into Niger, and they go to the savannah, right to the edges of the Sahara Desert, and they put camp there. The camps are usually 2, 3, 4 days away from northern Nigeria. They go put a camp out there in the savannah or right on the edges of the Sahara Desert, and they stay there. Nobody finds them. No satellite find them. The U.S. military can't find them. See, this is what we told. The GPS trackers can't find these guys. That's why, again, why it's important, brothers and sisters, that to emphasize that point that these guys here will be able to detect them. They will find their tracks and they'll track them to their home base. Usually in their home base, you have those who are recovering. They had injuries, or maybe they have been robbing for many months. Now it's time for them to take a vacation. So they'll stay and enjoy their spoils of what they robbed. They have plenty of food and water. They have the northern trade routes as the rogue elements come to bring them food and ammunition. So they rest here until everything calms down and so forth and so on. And the new bunch will go down south, again back in northern Nigeria, and start the same ball game over again. These guys will break this cycle. They can detect these camps here, and they'll go at them and take them out. And unfortunately, as I said before, most of these people that you see in this camp will be dead. They will not take anybody back. They're all gone. They're dead. They will get them in hand-to-hand combat, and most likely they're beheaded, and their weapons destroyed, and ammunition destroyed, and so forth and so on. See, so this is again a element that we have to explore. I got a few more notes here, and I'll let you guys go to the great element here, brothers and sisters. I can't stress this more. You have the Fulani and the Tuareg. Let them do their job. They're experts in this. Let them do the patrolling. And go to these routes, stop the human trafficking, stop the armed trafficking, stop the drug trafficking as well. The drug traffickers, yes, they are ruthless and vicious, but they are neutralized when they come to Sahara. Why? Because even if they get a Bedouin will be very leery to go into these regions because they may be able to see their brothers there. But these guys who don't know the region may not be able to see them until it's too late. And these guys will be on them before they know it. And if they get these traffickers, they're dead men. They don't send anybody back. They're dead men. They get hand-to-hand combat. They're trapped there. They get them. They cut their heads, and it's gone. They're finished. And that's how this situation ends badly for them. But unfortunately, we have to look at it from the standpoint. I hate to see some Muslims die in this fashion, but they're killing other Muslims and so forth and so on. And these guys are wayward. They have to be stopped. And unfortunately, some have to die. And that's just the way it is. In order for the greater good, in order to bring peace to northern Nigeria, these guys have to be stopped, brothers and sisters. These guys and their camps need to be discovered. I just saw an article today where they were talking about, they were mad at the ulama in northern Nigeria because they were saying that they want to know why no one is telling them where all these camps are. They may know where some of the camps are, but their camps are kind of mobile as well. But these camps here are all over the place. When you go to northern Nigeria, if you look at the map, let's go to the map here so we can kind of get a better glimpse of what we talk about here, brothers and sisters. When you start to look at Nigeria and you start moving northward, these camps, you'll find these camps now. You start to you now entering into the southern part of the Sahara Desert. These camps are almost hovering on the savannah, on the borderline of the savannah and the Sahara Desert. Not easy to detect. And they have these areas here, and they're just impossible to find, brothers and sisters. And this is what one politician was saying today. They want to know where all these camps are because the military can't find them. The security apparatuses can't find them. The Americans find some here and there, but they can't find majority of them, especially when they go further into the Sahara Desert. They can't find them. It's hard to engage them. And now we understand why. See? And this is why you look at this, how rugged this terrain, especially as you start going northwards into Niger, Chad, and so forth and so on. And then when you start to hit the Sahara Desert, it's so massive. You can hide behind sand dunes. You can have a whole city behind many sand dunes, and you can't see it. You can go up and walk. You can go across back and forth, and it's sitting behind the sand dune down below, and you won't be able to see these encampments. And this is what this politician was saying today in Nigeria, and I agree with him fully because he wants to know why no one can find these camps. These camps, they have hundreds of these camps all over the place to the north. Nobody can find them. Well, some ulama know where these camps are, but they're not talking, which I wouldn't talk either. There's no sense talking about that. Why are you going to help the government out when the government's not helping to solve the problem? They want to kill, and that's it. But you can't kill all these guys. And then Nigeria have to go into Chad, and they have to have permission to go to Niger to go get these guys. And that's the other problem. And even then, they may not find the camp. The camp may move up, go further north into Sahara Desert. How are you going to find them? See, these are the issues that they don't want to think about. They only want to go and kill, and that's it. And they don't think about the other aspects of it. And this is why many of the soldiers and many of the security are being ambushed. I found an article today talking about they just killed 7 or something in an ambush in this savannah, early southern part of the Sahara. They were ambushed. So apparently they came up on them. They didn't even realize before it was too late, and they were killed. And we talked about many of this here, and this is important, brothers and sisters. This comparison chart here, I know it's kind of written kind of small. Please forgive me for that. I should have made it larger, but this is a comparison chart on why the modern security forces have problems. As you can see here to your left, why they have problems detecting these camps and so forth. To your right is the traditional Sanhaja Mujahideen, Fulani Mujahideen patrol, and why they have a superior advantage than your security forces. And that shows you here. The Sahara is not merely a space on a map. This is again, your security forces go to the north. They look at this is a desert, more rock, sand, and damn it. Okay, that's all they know that. But our brothers who live in this know it's a living environment with them. They know its rhythms, and they know its routes and seasons and social network. This is why the security forces don't have this innate metaphysical training. They don't have that. Those understanding these realities can often detect threats long before they appear on the radar screen. That's why they need them out there, because they can detect that. And we'll go into this a little bit more as we get ready to close here. The frontier doctrine. Bandits travel where the governments don't. Traffickers move where security forces cannot remain. The solution is not merely more checkpoints. The solution is permanent presence. The Mujahideen and their rotations, they know how to go and hide. They know how to use the terrain. They know what sand dunes. They know what to do. They're mobile. You have a force of 50 to maybe 100 of these guys. These guys are vicious. They are executioners, not meaning in a bad way. Because when you have to deal with people who are ruthless, who are with the devil now, they're ruthless. How many people they've been killing in northern Nigeria today? It gets to a point where now you can't reason with many of them. So now you encounter their camps. What are you supposed to do? Sit down and talk to them? It's too late. And this situations like this, it's too late. These guys here go there and detect the camp. They wipe it out and finish it, and it's over. And here's the 5 pillars that the council should propose. Patrolmen should be raised in the Sahara and the Sahel. Understands this. They should be trained and raised in that region. Raised in quarters, they understand all of this. They'll be tested and so forth about their knowledge. The map shows the land Patrolman knows the land. Here is that. You have the security forces. They look at the map and say, oh, here, 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 here. But our Mujahideen patrolmen know the land. This is the difference. The map shows the land, but these guys know the land. This is a big difference. The constant mobility and so forth and so on. This is a big issue. Again, the constant mobility. We need this in order to detect these guys. We have to have that and so forth. And stationary guards and locations. The military is so predictable. The U.S. military is so predictable when you get into the desert. They know they're going to put a base here. They know they're going to put surveillance equipment over here. They'll have patrols running here. They know that. They say, okay, we know what to do. We know that their satellites don't work 8 hours of the day. We know what to do. And they go out further into the Sahara Desert and hide. This is a big advantage for them. The patrol would develop the villages' relationships because they will see them as their brothers, not as competitors, and not there to maraud to steal from them. The first line of intelligence is not technology, it is trust. That's the difference. Security forces don't have the trust as our Mujahideen group would. The Council of 40 Sahara Metaphysical Methodology. Brothers and sisters, the Sahara speaks continuously through tracks, wind, animal, vegetation, and disturbance patterns. Our guys, our Mujahideen who will do this job, they know this region. They know the heartbeat of the Sahara and the Savannah. Here is the metaphysics, what I'm talking about here. Examples of the metaphysical knowledge that most people don't know. They don't have it. Our guys know disturbed wildlife. They see one type of antelope that they see in the desert. All of a sudden they say, whoa, these guys are 30 kilometers to the south. Why are they running this way? That means somebody's there. Fresh tracks, they can track them also. Altered grazing behavior. They'll see animals they know that usually don't be in this region here. That means they were disturbed in their region and then left it. Abnormal movement patterns. They'll see abnormal. They see a lot of lizards running, out quickly. This is not guesswork. This is metaphysical knowledge, brothers and sisters. The Sufi call this ilm laduni is what they call this in Arabic language. The Sufi call this innate knowledge and so forth and so on. And the parliament, again, they will go to them and they will give their closing statements to the parliament to suggest this system be implemented to the north. And we start getting it going, brothers and sisters, because we have to do something. And I'll show a couple more depictions and then I will be closing here. We got the Modivo here. He's, again, I already showed you this one. And let me get you a couple of others here. He's addressing the parliament, and he's explaining about the new Sahara proposal that you see here in this graphic here as this distinguished Modibo, very educated. What differs between us and many of the scholars in Jazeera Arab, in the scholars in Europe or in America, is the Modibo has the metaphysics behind him and he has the Islamic behind him as well. This what makes him far more greater as far as knowledge goes than your traditional Islamic scholar who knows the Quran, he knows the Sunnah. He does too. He speaks Arabic language. He's fluent in that. He understands the tafsir of the Quran, but he has the metaphysics behind it. He understands the land, but he understands the cosmos also. This is the difference. See, so when he speaks, he commands respect, but he can tie in the cosmos with the earthly plane. This is the Fulani. This is the Fulani Modibo. This is why we have the special divine favor from Allah. He is now talking to the council to explain the metaphysical differences why we need to have our people patrol the Sahara Desert. We need the Sanhaja and we need the Tuareg, the Sanhaja, patrol and the Fulani to do this because they have the metaphysical nature behind them to understand, to defeat the bandit and all of the trade, all the illicit trades and so forth and so on is going on. This is very important. And we've got a couple more, and then I will here. Let me see. We got he introduced here. I think that's just about it, brothers and sisters. I gave you this here, the expert again. I want to show you this to make sure you get it implanted about the why we need this. We have the Sanhaja Tuareg in the blue who would understand that's their terrain. They understand it very, very well. The Fulani does too, but the Tuareg are experts. When you get down to the yellow and to the brown, you have Tuareg also, but the Fulani understands this region, the savannah, the Sahel, the thickets and the forest. They understand this region very well. They're experts. This is why this situation here is important. And you see the map here. And they'll be showing this to the council was showing this to the parliament, and that way we will have the parliament will look at this and they'll understand what they're up against and why it's important that they do implement this type of situation and so forth and so on. And lastly on this, again, is the Modibo. He introduces the Sanhaja to the left in the blue and the Fulani herdsmen to your right, and he introduces them to the parliament to show the parliament, an example of who he's going to have out there in the Savannah region and in the Sahara region to ferret out the bandits and so forth. He's showing you these guys. These guys are taller, they're bigger, and they're stronger than most people. See, this is why. And these guys also have the ability of hand-to-hand combat. They know how to handle themselves one-on-one or with a group of bandits. They know how to take them out. Okay, and this is why we have them there. These guys are strong. They're physically very, very strong men, and they'll be specially trained. They're experts in the AK-47. They're experts in the machete and so forth and so on. So they know how to use the machete in hand-to-hand combat. And this is what the Modibo is introducing this to the parliament. As you see here to the left, he's showing you the proposal here, what he proposed, and he has the examples to his left here. As you see, the two patrolmen who would be patrolling the region, these brothers here to the right are essentially, they are no joke. Okay, they're not punks. These dudes here know this region and they know how to take people out. And now we need a situation like this where you have ruthless bandits who've been killing and robbing, okay, and getting away with it for years now. Now you're going to have the match equal with ruthlessness and viciousness. These guys here will match that. So when they find these bandits out in the Sahara Desert, after they've killed a whole bunch of people in northern Nigeria, these guys come on them again, as I showed you, and put an end to these guys. Okay, I hate to have to say it that way. Excuse me. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. I made a mistake here. Okay, excuse me. Okay, sorry. Excuse me for a minute there. I wanted to show you this. This ambush. These guys here. Now you see. This is the ambush. This is where these guys will be dead within minutes. These guys here will come upon them with their machetes and take them out. They will not be able to come back to northern Nigeria anymore to kill. They'll be gone. These guys will take them and destroy them in this region, and they'll not be able to return back to northern Nigeria to kidnap anybody anymore or rob anybody and kill anybody in townships. It'll be over for them. This is why we got to have this special force here, brothers and sisters. I hope that you agree with me. I'm not trying to be vicious and I'm not blood hungry. That's not what I meant. But it comes a time, even in Islamic rule, Islamic law, when you have people who are too far gone, they're killing and robbing. There's no Sharia court. We can't put them to the police because the police works with these guys. So now the only recourse is do what? It's to engage them and liquidate them. That's the only way. Once the word comes out that when you go to the north into the Sahara, you'll run into these guys, and they know that if they catch them, they're dead. They know that, and that's an unfortunate reality. But just like they live by the sword in northern Nigeria, they're killed by the sword. Now they will meet their end when you implement this group, who will be able to detect them and find them into the Sahara Desert in their bikes and ambush them and finish them off. And then we'll put fear into them, because they have no fear of nothing now. And that's my proposals to this, brothers and sisters. I don't know if you agree with me. Please leave your messages about this. And I'm hoping that you guys get a chance to see this. And I must end here. I must go to prayer now. I'm a little late. And so please review this, spread my tape, and subscribe to my station, brothers and sisters. And I really appreciate that, because I'm trying to bring you content to help you to discern what's going on in northern Nigeria in particular, and why I'm also stressing about our programs of our ancestral fathers, because we should honor them. They left us a blueprint. We should follow that. They have all of these answers about the farmer, herder, the corridors, how to deal with these muharaba, how to deal with these bandits and brigands and all that. They know how to deal with them. We need that implementation today, brothers and sisters. And I hope and pray subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless us and give this fet, so that way we'll implement this Council 40 and start getting this ball rolling. So I'll leave you with that. Assalamu alaikum. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Anzarama.